Hello everyone, I'm making this video to address a serious matter regarding the Blender game engine. The current game engine codebase is old and hard to manage. Because of this, the Blender Foundation has decided to get rid of the BGE and pave the way for new features such as Eevee. I actually totally agree with the Blender Foundation removing the BGE because, while I'm still an avid Blender game developer, Blender is still mostly used by artists and they ought to have as much power to create their works as they can possibly get. Now before I discuss other game engine options, I would like to mention that despite the Blender Foundation getting rid of the Blender game engine, nobody is telling you to stop using it. If you want to keep using the Blender game engine, don't update Blender. It's as simple as that. Regarding other game engines, I will only talk about Blender-based game engines, Armory and UpBGE. UpBGE is currently the most up-to-date Blender game engine build and is available to download from upbge.org. I'll have a link to it in the description. Armory engine is still being developed, and with later builds, it will be quite a very good engine with graphics comparable to Unity or even Unreal Engine. Unfortunately, UpBGE has suffered a similar fate recently to the Blender Foundation Blender game engine. Because of this, a new project called Ketsji has been created. Ketsji is a project initiated by other avid Blender game developers and is based off the current UpBGE code. This project was started as a way to keep the Blender game engine from becoming obsolete. Despite what many people think, the Blender game engine is not actually obsolete and can make very good games. I will have a link to Ketsji in the description. We hope to eventually integrate Eevee into Ketsji, which might mean, if it is successful, that the Blender Foundation may one day bring the Blender game engine back. Right now, Ketsji is still just essentially UpBGE. We currently have 3 people working on the engine right now to develop better game engine capabilities. If anyone is interested in keeping the Blender game engine alive, and or if you are capable of helping to develop the Ketsji engine, we would love to have you over at the Blender Discord server. I will have a link to it down in the description.